Testing, one, two, three. Hello, Daiji. Can you hear me? Does it sound good? I wonder if I get rid of that. I've got the echo coming back. And I hear myself twice. Okay. All right. So now I just have to figure out. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna make you a moderator if I can. All right. How do I do that? Hello, Myrtle Beach. You're having nice weather. Um, all right. See if I can assign a moderator. What's going on in Myrtle Beach? Yeah, you can share this. You I don't know if you want to put the link out. So do some switching here. Up here. Oh, okay. Got a week in Florida. That sounds nice. Sounds good. Text these guys. What are you doing in Florida? Yeah. You could see the stream die, but he's trying to figure out how to make someone a moderator. Maybe I should watch a YouTube on that. We'll get a few more people in here. We'll start running trains. Hello, Ken. Now I see you. Okay. I think I figured this out. We will add Diana as a moderator. Yeah, I've got me, Ken, and then I've got my layout. If you want to come on screen, I can do that too. So let me know, and I'll send you the link. I posted it up here. Gotta find one of these ways I can do this sitting down. Did you get to listen to the new intro for the podcast at all, Ken? Well, thanks for saying hi. Appreciate it. Taking your time out between graffitiing up car, tiny ones. Oh, know you struggled. Yeah. Well, there's Ken. Hello, Ken. Hi.
Hey guys.
Appreciate it. Taking your time out between graffitiing up car. Tiny we're gonna get. You got to put in earphones, or we're gonna hear everything twice. I know you're struggling. Yeah. Here's Ken. Hello, Ken. Hi.
Hey guys.
Appreciate it. See what's happening in our basement. It looks great. There's no mess. There's no mess here at all. Hear everything. There you go. All right, give me some audio there, Ken. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
No, now I can.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I just put headphones on.
Yeah.
So that would help.
I might have to kill mine because I'm getting such a double feed.
But you are? Okay.
Yeah, it's just but that's mine. Because I hear myself talking, there's a delay through. So I wonder if I switch my microphone. Now, let's see. Is that much better? I gotta change my speakers. Is that any better? Can you hear me, Ken?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Good. Okay. Yeah, I'll get rid of these. That was just. I thought that would work, but they were just. I'd hear me talk, and then I'd hear me talk again. So.
Sounds good to me.
I'm gonna switch out some red dirt. Oh, stop. Oh, stop.
Yeah, a few seconds later.
Well, let's see if this works. Nope, that's All right, we'll give her one more test. Goes on. Okay, we're back to this. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. Where are we getting feedback from? No, that's just us. All right, let's try this. All right, let's test this. I think that's better. All right, can you hear me now, Ken?
I can. Yes, I can.
All right, I guess I'm back to the echo in my ears.
Okay. Yeah, no echo from you to me.
But this is something we could do for the division, and we could bring 6 people up, and you could like have 6 different layouts, and
Right.
it's all recorded to YouTube. And you can also, like on YouTube, you see the $sign. People can donate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went over to um, Streamyard from Facebook.
Yeah, I could broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all at the same time. You know,
Oh,
whatever
okay.
platform, Instagram. So
Cool.
we could do it simultaneous. And this we could do the clinics at the Modelers Retreat or at the convention up in Brainerd. You know, if you can't attend, we can. If they got YouTube, we could do it live.
Right.
And
You know, the division's doing the convention next year in Brainerd, and I think it'd be nice to go back to Duluth a couple of years after that, or even a year down. Just be fun to go back there. Duluth's such an easy place to put on a convention.
it is. I'm hoping. How do I get out of this? There we go. Comment. Yeah, William's got some good ideas on what to do with the podcast and maybe the convention and clinics.
Yep,
A
I
lot of
agree.
hands-on.
Yep. Well, it's nice we're getting a lot of people involved, and I certainly appreciate. Williams, when they were talking pies and sprogs and all that other stuff, I just kind of went. I had no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's beyond me too.
But I am thinking that it might be wise for me to hire somebody to come in and spend a couple hours, somebody that really knows their way around, to come in and spend a couple hours going through my layout and helping me get my electronics basically done. I'm just not sure if everything I put in over the 20 years is right. And so
That'd be a good way to get your electronics AP certificate.
Yep. Yeah, I've got, I can do a lot of this stuff, but it's glitchy. And I think if somebody would come in and who really knows their stuff could come in and talk about what I should be doing, it'd be great. So I'll just have to budget some time and money to do that.
Yeah, I think if you have us over with that single purpose in mind,
yep,
we won't get distracted by shiny objects. And what you're doing recently is just, go through your wiring,
right,
and see if your blocks are correct, and if you're getting power everywhere, and if you're overloading a block.
Yep.
Just simple things like that, or where if you have radio throttles where they're not reaching.
Well, I bought a proto throttle, so I know I've got to get the basics down right so that I can come back and get the proto throttle working.
Right. Doesn't William have one?
He does. He has a couple, and so does Dave.
I have one.
Dave Hamilton's got one.
Yeah, I have one at my disposal. It's not mine. It's a long-term lease. But
why?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good afternoon, Saturday afternoon. You buy donuts, we'll show up.
Oh, so the Diana that was there earlier was the pretty voice Diana.
Yes. Yeah, she wanted to see what our basement looks like. What I've done to it.
Well, that's
I think that's a good endeavor to work on electronics.
I was going to refer to her once as Tool Time Heidi, but I just wasn't sure if that would be appropriate.
We could do that. I don't know about Heidi, but
wasn't the lovely lady that did all the voices and all the talking for Tool Time, wasn't her name Heidi?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was not a fan of that show.
Yeah.
I know they had a lot of ladies that went on to fame. They had Pamela Anderson on there for a while, didn't they?
She was on the radio show WKRP. She might have been on that one also. I don't recall. But
no, the one I'm talking about was on Baywatch.
Oh, okay. No, I was thinking of Tool Time with Tim Allen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, so what else? So you're gonna run some trains?
Yeah, I'd like to. I got the yard set up over here to switch. Anybody wanted to watch it switch?
Yep. So you say you have 3 different operators. Can you describe the 3 different jobs?
Sure. We're going to do one tonight. You're the yard operator. You sort the inbound loads into shoves that go to the ore dock. You pull the empties from the ore dock and collect enough of them to make an outbound train and put that on the departure track.
Okay.
And then you can continue sorting all the ore that comes in.
So
that gets pretty hectic.
So if you're the yard man, and these trains are coming in, do you have a like an order sheet? I'll call it. I don't know. You probably have a better word that says you've got to prepare one shove that has this mix.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can't. I don't know if you can. So down here,
Yep.
we got 2 boxes. Dock shoves to do, and the dock shoves are done. And index card with a tag on it.
Okay.
So
So
shove number 2 on the boat Andrea Dosa
yep.
is going to be 9 yellows. And that
Okay.
goes on track 2 on pockets 13 to 29.
All right.
And the A2 is just for me that I know it's boat A2.
All
So
right.
you'll just have this in front of you, get 9, shove them out there, pull the empties that are out there because I empty them between each shove.
Right.
Put that in the done pile. And so the next one he's got, it needs 9 black.
Okay.
And like any other, good engineer, he can look ahead and plan ahead.
Right.
The tough part is there's 4 sorting tracks and 5 colors.
Okay.
And 1 track for empty.
Well, that's nothing wrong with that. So, when
Drive safe through the mountains.
pardon me?
No, the Scholes is leaving there.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
Okay.
I just want to go through the Smoky Mountains tomorrow.
Oh, that yeah.
So that's job 1.
Okay. So let me take one step back. When a train comes in from one specific mine, is it all one color, or is there a mix of colors from each mine?
Mixed colors from each mine.
Okay. And that's
Okay.
is it size, or is it ore content, or
Content.
okay. All right. And then you were talking about you were planning on having interchange with the DM&IR and maybe the NP to bring in other colors.
Yes.
Okay.
So I only have an interchange with the DM&IR, but they'll deliver cars from the Sioux Line, Northern Pacific, Great Northern, and the
Okay.
Mesabi. And they'll be added to the shoves.
But they'll still have the same color, 5 color. They won't have their own color.
They will have their own color. The interchange cars are always like gray.
Oh.
Because they're going to be their type of ore that we don't have access to on the Vermillion Range.
And when you say it's a different type of ore, different chemical composition?
Correct. The amount of oxygen in it, the
Okay.
amount of silica, the amount of iron. The Vermillion Range, which I model Tower, Ely, and Sudan, the underground mines, produce the highest grade ore pretty much anywhere in the world.
Right.
You could take 2 hunks of it out of the ground and weld them together.
Okay.
So the steel mills really liked ore from the Vermillion Range. They called it a Vermillion lump because they get the coke and the ore and everything all boiling. And then at the last thing, they'd have a big crane or something and they drop in, like a ton of the ore from the Vermillion Range. And they called it the Vermillion lump. And all the oxygen in there would just push all the impurities right out. It just works so easy. So that's kind of the premise of why my road exists, is the higher grade ore.
Okay.
It costs more to dig it underground,
yes.
But you don't have to process it like taconite. So you save the money on the front end.
Sure. Oh, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay. That's neat.
yeah.
So,
And there's not that much damage to the environment because they're not digging 10 square mile open pits.
yep.
It's going down 2 miles, two,
Yeah.
3 miles.
Yeah. Uh, so a train comes down and the road crew drops the loads and then they
Yep.
go off and then they get ready to go back and they'll do they automatically take another empty or do they have to switch crews?
No, the road crew will arrive with the loads on an arrival track.
Yep.
They'll uncouple their power, pull ahead to a runaround spur, and then run around their train. Then they'll come through the crossovers again, couple onto their caboose, and then they drag it to the caboose track and put that away. And then they can go park in front of the depot and get a cup of coffee
All right.
while the yard guy will pull those ore cars out, weigh them, and if the yard guy's sharp, he'll stuff them on a for now track
Yep.
and switch them because the sooner he gets the empties out to the departure track, then he doesn't have to deal with the road guy anymore. The road
Okay.
guy then will go get a fresh caboose, run around, tack it on the back, go to the front, pump up his air, and depart.
So that's two operators right there.
Correct.
Okay.
And the
And then
road guy does, so he'll go up the main line, and when he gets to Vermillion, there's 2 arrival tracks,
right.
and the guy will tell him which one. And so he'll pull in and just cut off his power. Then he'll run through the yard on a runner track, get to the south end, and then they'll tell him what 2 tracks to take. And there's 4 tracks. So the guy will say double 1 to 2, and 2's already got a caboose, and I've got a little van that hauls his conductor from the south end to the north end.
Okay.
So he can double out, and then when he does his air test back down the main line, he goes. And the conveyor belt goes on.
Right. Right. Okay. And then do you have to be staging while all this is going on, or do you have enough set up stage that it cycles for a whole operating session?
There is literally no staging. When the trains get to the ore dock, let's see if I can show you here.
I know you got a neat little thing for taking the ore out.
Right. So I'll get one you can see. Get an orange one. So here's an orange pit.
Yep.
You'll physically take the pin out, and there's a map of the boat, and you'll stick it in the boat. And then I have this. It's got magnets in there.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see the little poker
Oh yeah.
hole. And then in the ore load, there's a hole.
Yep.
So that goes in there. And the magnets fell out of that one. That's funny. So this has the magnets, and then in the loads, there's washers.
Sure.
I've glued 2 washers in there, and then
Oh,
the
more
empty
weight
car, right? And then the loads go in the bucket. It's got a big paint bucket, and then they'll have empty. So the next time you shove to the dock on the other track, you'll uncouple, go get the empties, and drag them back.
there. Right.
And then what I do as layout owner, I'll take those loads and fill the empties that are in the mines.
Yes. Okay.
My layout can operate 24 hours a day.
Right.
You just have to put a new boat on the wall.
Okay. Oh, well, or you have to change the name of the boat, right? That's what you're
Not the
saying.
name. I have to change. So I went to the printers and I make these big
Oh,
boats.
okay.
So this is the Riley Thomas, works for Cleveland Cliffs, is one of my grandkids. And then you can see this is how I used to do it with mixed loads,
Yeah.
like green, orange, black. It was too much switching. You couldn't keep up. So I changed it to a shove is all one color instead of it being three different colors. The guy at the yard couldn't keep up.
Sure.
So it was a
Yeah, and
bit tough on that.
if you got a bunch of smart asses in, you could go back and do some hybrid of the two and throw them a loop.
Well, and that's how I could make it as difficult as I want. Where somebody says, "Oh, this is too easy," then I'll make each shove white, yellow, green, white, yellow, green, white, yellow.
Right.
Have at it.
Sure. Now I know they did mix. I'm aware of
Yeah.
that process that they mixed. I just wasn't. Of course, they're working in so much larger quantities. I wonder how many
Right.
shoves it took to fill a boat.
From what I understand, the regular boats before the 1,000-footers were 6 trains.
6 trains?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think the holds in the dock could hold 2 trains worth. You could dump 2 ore cars
Yep.
into each hold. And ore cars, it's every other hole that they fit over, the spacing. So they dump one, and then they'd move the boat a bit, then they'd dump the other, and then by that time they brought down 2 trains to, empty them out.
Okay.
And so like now a thousand footer can haul like 60,000 tons. And you figure a taconite train is 20,000 tons, including the car, so it's only about 15,000 tons of tack. So it's about 6 trains of taconite to fill 1,000 footer.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I changed mine because of that blending where it didn't matter if you had 3 orange, 3 black, 3 yellow. It just mattered the total number of black car in that boat. So I'm like, why am I divvying it up? I mean, it was a lot more difficult before, and I'm like, but this is the only paperwork on my entire railroad.
Okay.
That's the only person that gets paperwork.
Right. So when you go and put the ore loads back in up at the mine, you just arbitrarily put whatever color pins you want in there.
No. I've got 3. As you can see behind me, though.
Yep.
Elizabeth mine. So that one's got 1 loadout. And then over there, the Diana Lynn mine has 2. And each loadout has 10 cars.
Right.
And each 10 is 2 black, 2 white, 2 yellow, 2 green, 2 orange.
Okay.
So that way it keeps it. So every road, 2 of those is a road train. So every road train is bringing down 4 of each color.
Okay. So when you put them in there, do you randomly put them in there to make the yard man have to work harder, or do you put all the color?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah.
Or have some mercy on them. Depends how much they're struggling or having fun.
Sure.
Because there's no switching. The third job is the mine run guy. He when the road trains come up, he'll cut off 10 cars at a mine caboose and go to one of the mines. And he has to look to see where if I'm loading, if I got the blue flag up.
Right.
So he'll go to one of the mines, and that's quite an operation. I've shown that on some videos. Where you pull in, there's a runaround track.
Yep.
Put your caboose aside, pull the loads and stuff them onto the caboose, then put the empties under the loadout, go back to your train, and then depart. And then you pull into the Vermillion yard, uncouple, run around, and grab 10 more ore cars off the arrival track, and away you go. So that's like the way freight. So I've got a yard job, a way freight, and a mainline run.
Okay. Yeah, I just never put the 3 steps. I've seen the different videos, but I just had never put the 2 second and third steps quite in order to understand how they worked. So
yeah,
that's kind of neat.
It is neat. It's very, very relaxed. I have a couple design flaws where I'm standing now is pretty much where the yard guy has to go, and also the upper level guy has to kind of work in here. But they only got to talk. The trains only come in contact at 2 places. One's at the north end of the Vermillion yard, and the other one is the rival departure track.
Okay.
On the bottom. Otherwise, you're in your own little world.
But you say when you're right there, the upper yard guy and the lower yard guy are actually bumping butts.
Sometimes they get by each other.
Okay.
It's not because the upper yard guy doesn't switch. He just takes his train, then he'll go way around the layout.
Okay.
He'll come back and throw 4 switches, and then go on the other end.
All right.
And when the road train comes in, when he cuts off his power to get through the yard, he's got to make sure the guy going to the mines isn't in his way, because he needs the main line for headroom.
Okay.
So,
and that's just communicating, talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you showed on a video that one of the ore cars had a defect, and when it hits a defect, you have to note that at one end or the other of that run. You don't have a place in between to set it out?
No, you'll take care of it at the yard.
Okay.
Because they're going slow enough per rule.
Okay.
They can stop and inspect it, and then usually fix it on the fly or band-aid it to get to one of the yards.
Sure. Are you running old friction bearings?
I don't know. It's 1969 and 59 cars. I don't know what these. They've got journal boxes on them, so
yeah,
I think they have something more modern.
Well, no, I mean that might have been what they were, because, like you say, they were lugging, but they were going slow.
Right. Even the Masabi, I think the empties were 30 and the loads were 40. That's all they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Reserve Mining changed the trucks on their cars when they invented the Cobra brake shoes, these high friction brake shoes.
Yeah.
They could get away with 2 brake shoes on each. And so they cut them down, and they save about 1,800 pounds a car. They could add more taconite to it. This is something I should give a clinic at the RPM meeting.
Well, that's interesting.
Erie Mining and Reserve.
Yeah. Well, you're right. That's the kind of stuff that nobody's going to know about that, and yet it's interesting. Yeah, So yeah, I just picked up all these files from Larry Schrank, and I'm sorting through the ones we're going to send out west. And there's just a whole bunch of there's so much interesting railroading around this area here that people just don't know about. So, but
what does Larry have?
Well, Larry Schrank had 50 years of research. He wrote 3 or 4 books and had started a couple more. So, oh gosh, there's just all sorts of neat stuff in here. A lot of it's deep minutia. When you talk about going down the rabbit hole, when you get to the bottom of it, you're finding what Larry had, because he he was a deep researcher. So that's pretty cool. But
Was he a prototype railroad? Was he on the railroad or just a
no,
fan?
he's an engineer. He was a Honeywell engineer. So as engineers do, he could get down in the details, and
The
he
real
did.
nerds. Honeywell was
Yeah,
attracted them and
yeah,
3M attracted a
yeah,
lot of the nerds.
yeah. So
Yeah, we had a big Honeywell plant here in Hopkins. I remember that.
yeah, you did. That's right. So and I
Funny.
well, Dave Jasper bought a building right across the tracks from where the NAPCO and they used to make tractors there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Hopkins had a lot of industry at one time, a lot of railroading. So
But yeah, somebody posted a picture of the Great Northern Depot in Hopkins yesterday on Facebook. And my wife and I were trying to figure out where it was because you can see the Red Owl water tower in the background.
yep,
And
yeah. Well, there were two of them, right? There's one left over, but there were two of them in that location. And then
there's
I don't
two,
know.
both them and St. L and the Milwaukee Depot are still there.
Okay, so the GN one couldn't have been far away.
No, from where
Because
we figured out it was just down the old Main Street.
oh really?
When they moved Excelsior, they changed Excelsior. It used to be a straight road there, like right through the middle of Hopkins.
Okay. Yeah, but Great Northern got out of there early, didn't they?
Not really.
Oh, is it?
I've got photos of them coming down with a switcher, and when they crossed the Emmons-St. they crossed the Emmons-St. Morton line that went out South Dakota. They had
Yep.
those swing gates,
Okay.
and my father-in-law worked at Red Owl. He retired from there, and the Great Northern guys had the rights to switch in there with the Emmons-St. They traded off, and they'd come into the plant and try and tell them to come railroading. He's like, no, I'm
Okay.
gonna stay home.
Well, that's neat. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they had a couple lumber companies. And it was a working man's town till 70s.
Yeah.
So
See, there's a
I never saw a Great Northern here growing up, but I think I remember the tracks in the
sure.
70s. Because I remember when they built Target out there on Highway 7, there was a little spur there. The tracks, was now the bike trail went behind there, and they had a little spur. Like they were
Okay.
going to deliver stuff to Target.
Wow.
So
Huh.
it was into the 70s, into the BN era.
Well, now see, there's another area where I wish somebody would put together a presentation on the history of railroading in Hopkins. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So,
Well, somebody would dig into like the maps that, Dave Voss has of Skunk Hollow.
right.
I'm like, that's an entire layout. It's a loop track between the Northfield, the Milwaukee, and the Northwestern. I was like, and the Spurs, we counted at least 30 in there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I remember he had that map at the modelers meet a couple years ago, 3 years ago now. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Well,
That
there's
was really cool.
yeah. So that's cool. Well, if you want to run something, I'm happy to watch, and then you can.
I'll do some switching here. I got some time left. See some
Okay.
people coming in and out, but
Good.
let's see if I can bring up the switching here.
Okay.
We'll get rid of the empties here.
Now the inside of that one ore car is very light gray. There's another one. Is that
Yeah,
just a variation in the weathering, or were they
right. Yeah, because I didn't know what ore cars look like. That was one of my quests actually. Was what's an empty car look like on the inside? And so I painted them silver like metal, and then I added rust to them. Like the
okay?
dusting. And the
Yeah.
more and more I've seen, it's just bare metal from being worn down.
Oh, I believe that.
There would be no paint,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, so you pulled those empties out,
Yeah,
but was that I wasn't counting. Was that a full train?
that's 10. That's from the dock. That's not a full train.
Okay.
So I'm going to shove these onto track 5 here. Track 5 is the empties. And when I get 20 of them, I'll put them out there on the departure track.
Okay.
Yeah, here you can see the various interiors.
Yeah.
Like this one I've just sprayed,
Right.
and then some of the other ones coming up, like the ones next to the engine, and this one I went after with pan pastels.
Sure.
And that's when I learned how toxic pan pastels were, because when I was all done, I blew my nose and it was nothing but orange and red. You're like, wear a mask because it's
Oh,
such
geez.
fine dust. So it's all hands free. It's all magnets.
Right. So this is where that conversation today about a large layout and a small layout, it's just one of those things you can fine tune these details on a smaller layout, and it's so much harder to do that on a large layout.
Right, because you spent so much time on the huge amount of like ground foam you need.
Right, right. And that's the issue I run into is because I've got to build everything. I can't go to the hobby shop and buy. Oh, I need a special turnout. I just don't have that option.
Yeah, you have to become a kit basher or scratch builder in S-Scale.
Yep, yep,
Do they make S-Scale Flex Track?
they do. That's very helpful.
How much does an S-Scale switch cost?
Uh, if you buy the Fox Valley, they're 35, I think, but I build my own, so I've got all the tooling.
I like that. To me, it's therapeutic.
It is.
Uh,
I have a resistance soldering thing that I used years ago. I actually built a flat brass, etched brass diesel, and then it got shoved away, and I haven't used it for a long time. And people tell me that, boy, if you use that, it makes building turnouts even easier. So
see, I've never been any good at the resistance soldering. I don't understand the theory behind it. I tried it once and I just like.
yeah. Well,
But
like I said, I
maybe
used it.
you'll have to teach me.
Well, I used it once and I put it away. It's probably been 20 years. So I'm going to have to go back through that learning curve again.
But yeah, I've heard those are the high end ones and hit the foot pedal and everything. It's right
Yep.
then. You got everything.
Okay. So now you're bringing that down onto the track next to the empties.
Right. So what I'm doing is doing some pearl diving. I'm digging out the white loads.
Okay.
Because I made a constructive cut. And so I've got white, then I can shove the yellows back on track 4 where all the yellows are, then I'll have the whites. And then I won't have to sort out track 2 as much.
Sure.
So right now I'm just trying to filter. I made a mess, so I have more to switch tonight. But I started the yard with 60 cars, so there's 12 of each color, and some sessions to keep things going, I'll start at 80 cars. And that'll give more cars. Then the yard guy can fill 2 boats before the train. He needs the mainline trains.
Okay.
But to do any more than that, he needs 3 mainline trains, which will,
Right, but the mainline trains will be coming in anyway. He may not need them, but they'll still be delivering, right?
Correct. So I have the non-delayed magnets. You can couple on them and keep shoving. And since I'm shoving, they're slack. You can kind of see it. There's an orange. I paint the ties orange.
Yeah.
And then I can just walk away. You never touch my train's hands. Everything's magnets. I got movable magnets, sliding magnets.
So he'll go
magnets.
back. He's going to go back with all the other white ones.
Correct. Yeah. One spot is not happy with here. More CRC 26. So now I'll dig out the yellow ones. And I'll start putting those on the arrival departure track, which I tell the yard guy he can use as long as there's not a road train out there. And a lot of them don't get it because I've even got a crossover from that to get to the dock.
Okay.
So I mean there's 10 yellows here, so I could shove if that was my next shove. Excuse me, I could take that to the dock.
And can you go to the dock anytime you're ready?
Yes. Yep. As soon as you got 10 of the color that's necessary, and if you've got an alley, because this yard is double ended, except for the track that has the empties, because that's really long and it's a dead end. But yeah, if you have your cars together, you can go anytime. The boats are always waiting.
So from a strategy though, it would make sense to keep pushing as quickly as you can.
Right, to kind of clear out your yards. And there's a little bit of not this one, I'll try this one a bit. And you can see the yard lead down there and the caboose track.
Yep.
And the caboose track is double ended and diesel facility and the rip track and the maintenance facility.
Yep.
So now I'll shove those out of the way here. Because I could take this through the dock.
What's the maximum you can shove at one time?
10.
Okay.
And then you and then that's the scale down there, what he's on now. And how I add to operations is if someone wants to weigh their trains, yeah, you can weigh 10 at a time. So when an inbound comes in, you cut off 10 cars, and the scale's turned on with 2 switches. And
so you have one of those little electronic scale things.
No, it's you. There's lights on the scale house that blink and stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't really add a scale, and
Okay.
a lot of people don't do it once again because it slows down the operation too much. It's,
Right.
everybody's in a hurry. I'm like, no, this is relaxing.
Well,
Dave Hamilton liked it. He thought it was really like therapeutic
right.
working my own. And that's kind of like Milts when we go up there. Oops, when we go
Whoop.
up there on the 21st.
Yeah.
If you run the ore trains, there's no paperwork. You just grab a Yellowstone and the whole train empties and head up to one of the mines and then grab the loads and back down. And it's been a long run main line. Milt doesn't use the pins, but he actually painted the loads 3 different colors.
Okay.
And he has so many cars that he put them in three. They're sets of 3 drawbarred together. And
But the DM&IR had them drawbarred. I don't recall if it was 3s or 4s.
mostly 4s.
Okay.
I'll get rid of these 2 yellow stragglers. And then we'll switch out the black one. Yeah, I should do a layout. I'm planning on that when I'm not doing all the projects. The rest of the layout's pretty destroyed right now. If I showed you, so I just kind of wanted to go live tonight. I knew I was home, but yeah, I'll do a layout tour some night. I'll put my phone on the gimbal, so it's a lot smoother. See, there's trouble right there. Is it lagging? I see my internet's. Everybody's sucking up my internet in my house. Okay, Jared says they were all 4-packs. Okay.
Yeah.
I think they called them quads or mini quads.
Yeah, that's my recollection. But I wasn't sure.
I think like Jeff Otto does 5s. Saves on couplers. They have hundreds more ore cars than I do. And probably into the thousands. You can figure out the cost of Katie couplers. A
Oh,
thousand Katie
absolutely.
number 5. That'll hit your wallet pretty quick.
Yeah, not only that, when you're running something like that, there's no real reason to not block them because it's just no reason not to.
Right. Do you have a Masabi book? I don't know if they hauled ore in the quads or not, but I know they use them for tacking them. That was an interesting.
Yeah, when I started out originally, I really wanted to do something with iron ore, and I just knew there'd never be ore cars in S scale. So finally, I went away from that. And then a friend of mine, the guy that was importing S scale cars, called me up and said, "Hey, the good news is next year we're introducing an ore car. The better news is you're the project manager on it, so you better get up there and start getting some pictures and a bunch of drawings together." So
Good news,
So
bad news, right?
well, yeah,
Yeah, I've still got your car. I got to create some loads for you.
well, that's okay.
I like that, but they're beautiful. You know, it's pretty tempting to go to Eskil. I don't know how many
Well,
Elkos, but RS11s. They make RS11s in Eskil.
they
I
have
think they do.
RS11s. Oh yeah, but you couldn't do all those other cute, neat things you do with the C this and that's. Well, if somebody does a as a kit out for a nice Elko, I don't recall what it was because it wasn't something that was run around here.
Hmm.
So you had 10 empties, and probably
Right.
when you make your next push up to the yard is when you would bring down 10 more empties and be able to send the yard job on its way.
Yep. Send the road guy out.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I think what I'll do for switching sake, I'll just make each track a color. I'll move these two yellow orphans to the other track, and then I can use the white. And I can just shove the white ones on top of them. Oops, come on. There we go.
So have you ever tried the proto throttle on on your layout now?
Yes. And it worked fine, but what I don't like is I need to fine tune it. So on my main line trains, I want to go to notch 8 and have them all rev up. But on the proto throttle at notch 4 is the fastest, is fast enough. If you go over notch 4, it's just too high a speed.
Yep.
So I need to tweak it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something Scott was showing me is that you set it up so that your locomotive notch goes up to notch 4 and then you top out the speed there and flatline it so that you can continue to notch higher and it'll rev the engine more, but it won't go faster.
Right. And what the soundtracks decoders have is that dynamic exhaust.
Yeah.
So they'll run around, but when the decoder feels tension from pulling cars, it automatically does that. You don't have to do anything
Oh,
on
okay.
your throttle. So, because I have my Alco Century 424s and 420, all my Centuries are set up that way, where if they just go, once you start pulling a loaded train, they're notching up. You can hear them.
Okay.
They start chugging away. But the Loke sound, like at Mill Slough, if we have diesels, he has an F number on the throttle, hit F6, and then they don't go any faster, but they rev up,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. Sounds like they're pulling a load because you're not going to increase speed, but the engines are revving up. But I like the Soundtracks one because you're running your train, not your throttle then. Tomato, tomato. All right. Let's sort out this one. Do you have to buy different decoders for S-scale because of the amperage the motors are using?
No. No. I can
No.
use the standard HO motors or decoders.
I think tomorrow we're going to the flea market and oh, get the dust there. Okay, Jamo found something here. think I've got a loose wheel. There we go.
Okay, so what Jared's saying is in 72 they added the sideboards and eliminated. Yeah, I suppose by eliminating the couplers there, they could have the air hose go right through. That would be really helpful in the winter.
Oh yeah, because I think they had straight air hoses and regular ones, so that they had two types of air. They still do because of Proctor Hill. You gotta fix some between sessions. You gotta fix some couplers. Yeah, and I think the sideboards were so taconite didn't weigh as much, or because there's air between all the pellets, so they could
That's
still haul 70 tons.
yeah, that was my recollection.
Quite an interesting operation, hauling red dirt.
Oh yeah.
I was just amazed at the number of ore docks the Great Northern and Wasabi had. When you see those pictures, and I was like, there's 6 docks in Eloise, and the Wasabi having 4 in Duluth and 2 in Two Harbors. Hello, Anthony.
And when you think about the tonnage of ore they moved out of that area, I just can't help but think that it put the earth out of balance, and it's probably wobbles different now.
maybe that's why all
Yeah,
the problems we're having. Ore mining. Let's blame that.
yeah, that and all the water they dammed up.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, like the reserve mining case of, what the tailings were doing to Lake Superior.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Just the amount of chemicals was just rock. Everybody thought it's just rock we're dumping in the lake. No big
Right.
deal. But it's filled with silica and asbestos.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that was
Jared,
quite the case.
I agree with what Jared's saying. I think it's only the taconite cars that were drawbarred.
Right.
And that might have been partially like what you're doing there with blending ores. Is I don't know that taconite has as much variety. It's probably because it's processed. It's probably more uniform.
Right. And hello, Heath. You missed the switching. We're just doing the bitching now. I'm advertising for you, though. Come on.
So Human City Junction, what's that?
Humanity Junction. That's Heath. That's my mentor in learning how to do this. He lives in New York City. Models 10 different scales in a New York apartment.
Holy
You
cow.
want to hop on, Heath? There's the link. But, and Anthony Dodge is here. He models European. Wonderful trees from Germany. Just fabulous layout watching them run around. And I like the variety here on YouTube Live. So
Yes.
he's in the NMRA. We're trying to figure out his division within New York City, trying to find layouts or something there. And very good with electronics and video and audio. And works on Broadway, which is electronics is always my Achilles heel.
Yeah, I agree.
You know. There we go. Ah, good tip. Yeah, Ken is the co-host on the Crossing Gate podcast. He's the division assistant superintendent.
Yep.
And we're just starting to get into some fun things now. William Sampson has created new intros for us and outros, and we got sponsors and kind of
Going big time.
Big time sponsors.
Yeah.
Big money. And somebody made a comment today when I shared the podcast was they're saying, oh, there's so many model railroad podcasts now. And I'm like, I think there's 3.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony makes songs and wonderful cartoons of the Old West, which reminds me, I got to get a photo to you. And should get my wife in her Old West outfit too.
So, publish songs and cartoons. Where do you publish them?
He's got a YouTube channel by that name, and you can see him on there. You can even buy his shirts and stuff.
The Model Railroad Outsider?
Right, yeah. Anthony, the Model Railroad Outsider. And there's a great story behind that, and it makes sense. But he does live shows, wonderful. Him and his wife joins in, teachers. And he created this whole Western story of, I think it was Matt Clark, Railroad Detective. And did voices and photos. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It was something that the guys on the podcast would appreciate. So, a lot of play on words.
Yeah. Well, we can't take ourselves very seriously. After all, this is all for fun.
We got mini trains in the basement. We can't do that.
Yeah.
I'll see if I show. I've been making this car. I make cars for the Split Rock Mining.
Yeah.
And I give to other people. This is going out. So now the next lap, I got to paint the roof, and then I'm going to weather it. I think that'll be my next live stream. But I gotta make one for Heath. I don't know if he wants Z scale or M scale. And then I'll have to find a European one for Anthony.
So Tom, that car would not have any. Well, it's the wrong era, but it also probably wouldn't ever run on the Split Rock. Is that a per diem car?
No. Yes, because I make.
Yeah, you guys are making so much money
cars for people because no one wants one ore car.
Well, yeah.
So I make cars, and I send them out to my friends whose layout I operate on, and I give them a car that fits their era: 40-foot box cars, 50-foot gondolas, yeah, whatever. So they have a Split Rock car, and they don't have to have one ore car.
Sure.
So, and then those are all like numbered like 20 to 99. If I get to 99, I don't know if I'll have that many friends, but I put a picture of them up when they're around the balance. And it just gives me something else to. Okay, Heath wants an N scale car. All right, that might be a first. Let's make some new decals for that. Yeah, because Dan Dosa switched on me. I had a nice 40-footer for his old layout. Now he's went to 2005. So, and charge your rate, yes. Yeah, I can charge my car, but you got to pay for the commodity that's in it. All right, so Jared, you're about alternative couplers like Sargent's. I have, but no, I I don't care what they look like. I want them to operate. I want them to work every time. And I know a lot of guys are fine scale. They want KD58s. They want Sargents. I've never seen a layout that operates a lot with success on those cars. So I've thought about it, and probably for cars I build for the railroad prototype modelers, you know, maybe I should make a split rock circus car for you. He likes GG1s and circus trains. Should paint up a split rock GG1. That'd be an abomination. Oh, you know your NOR cars from the congressional. That's a step down.
So when you're talking circus cars, are you talking the actual circus ones, or like the ones the Great Northern did, where they were really far out paint schemes?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I think he has the N scale ones of the Great Northern did, but also the actual circus cars carrying wagons and things like that. He's got a G scale one and a couple other ones. They're pretty nice. They're pretty nice.
So you could get them an HO stock car, cut a slit in the top of it, and put a draft head out of it.
Yep. Maybe I should do that, or just a clown car. Now I need a 3D printed giraffe. Okay, Tim's asking who the Reaper is. That's Mike Jordan, but not that Mike Jordan. But Michael Jordan from St. Paul gives a Jordan Walker. I have a Jordan Walker produce Reaper around here. Delivers beer up to the mines right now and then.
That's got to be a busy car.
Jordan Walker produce. Yes, yes. But yeah, I tried. So I need an S scale car to send out on the Minnesota Prairie there, Minnesota Central. Maybe I'll find one at the flea market tomorrow.
Oh, I've got plenty. In fact, I've got some on deck 40 footers. The Model Train Outsider.
Yeah, wonderful channel. And then look up for the Matt Clark Detective Series. The riffraff is here, Ken.
Uh-oh.
William Jr., go to sleep. Not running trains. We can show you the split. We can. Okay, he wants to see the split rock. There you go. Now he can go to bed. I want that video of your kids running in the layout, looking for the Gax car. I'll pay money.
Yeah, I was over there and I asked him if he recorded it. He said he didn't. I was disappointed.
Yeah. So yeah, Heath even has that Great Northern car with the baggage car with the flames on it. Remember that was parked at Lake Como forever?
Okay. Well, so now I've got the Model Train Outsider there queued up, so I can check that out a little bit later.
Yeah. He goes live. I think Anthony, you go live on Wednesdays. A couple hours, great chat. We talk about world travel, different languages, and a lot of Western humor. So what are LGB couplers, Heath? Are they just like the hooks in the little loop? Yeah, kids watching that. Oh, Fridays. I apologize. Anthony's on Fridays. I remember used to be Wednesdays. Okay. Friday. Oh, Heath has got it there. I should look at the new schedule. It's very nice. If John changed that, it's very readable, so I can go on there because I was wondering when Vinny was going on tonight, and I wanted to go after him. So, and I think somebody else was going on too, but I was home for the night, and the wife and I had dinner earlier, so I said, oh, I'm going to go fire up the layout. And yeah, I'll have to do a layout tour, I think, when I get done with my RS11s. The layouts right now is kind of torn up because I've been setting up photos I've been taking, stacked photos for submission to a bigger magazine. See if that goes.
Yeah.
The hook and loops, okay. They're big compared to N scale. Yeah, Z scale too. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, a layout tour. Yeah. Right now, your new room is a lot cleaner than my poor layout. Embarrassing. I was trying to hide the stuff behind me, but I was taking photos up here. Got all my new figures from that European company.
Yeah, those look
All
pretty
right,
cool.
what power did you have last at work for your favorite power to get? Last night I had an SD40 and a Dash 9 for the delivery, and then I had to spin two Norfolk Southern ES44s and a Gevo unit. That was sad. That was our end of the night bonus move. More bone than us. Um, I actually do like the old SD40s, Dash 2s, because you can sit and spread out, put your legs out, and there's room, and you can ignore the conductor. And all right, Ken, time to fess up. What do you model? A scale Heath doesn't have.
So, okay, I model S scale, and I model a Granger road. Well, Heath, time to get on to that. Yeah, I model Granger. I've got a fairly good size active staging yard, and then it goes off to that to three different industrial areas that are switching, and then I've got a loop that goes around the whole basement because there's times when I just want to run trains and watch them go. Yeah, you can see the difference, a little
There's
bit
an S
difference.
scale work car.
Yeah,
There's an HO one.
yeah,
That's pretty nice. Ken designed these.
yeah. So I have a if I'm on the
We close the
Streamyard, I can't see everybody's chats. And
You can't.
when
Are you on Streamyard or are you on YouTube?
I was on Streamyard, and then if I'll go back to YouTube and see what happens there, because that
Yeah.
worked out. But then I was getting echoing. I was because there's a delay. So I'm going to
Right.
get off of Streamyard.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember your S scale. See now they're demanding a layout to forget. Everybody wants it. Oh, in the podcast, yeah, Ken's the black sheep that we make fun of for modeling the S scale. Yeah, one of those guys. And so what's cool there, William? The power, because I'll send you all the pictures if you want interior, exterior, or let me know. An S scale circus set. What car are you missing? S scale is tempting because as I get older, it's a lot easier on the eyes. And I think if I tore this layout down and I just build a single level shelf layout, and can you dropped out? Video and everything has got to come back. Okay. So you like the prototyping? Okay. I figured everybody's bored of that because it's modern and you can go see it. There's nothing I can tell you that you can't go to the tracks and look at. Yeah. You got to come back to Streamyard and then mute Streamyard and go watch the chat in now. Okay, Jared. Yes, the MTH ore cars. I looked at them and I put them back because I don't want to pay $38 for one car. They're real pretty, and my friend Milt has a layout with 1,000 ore cars. He's got one or two, and you can't find it amongst the Walters and the MDC. Try and find it, you know. So, but yeah, I like the MTH. Do all locals on the rails have 7-speed steps? Correct. There's 8 notches, and notch 1 just sends power to the traction motors. That's why if you went to notch 1, you never hear the engine notch up. Ken's back. And so yeah, everything GE, EMD, everything has 1 through 8. I believe the last engines to not have that were like the U25s. They had like 16 speeds. Moves every okay, 20 years of story. Yeah, I feel bad believing that I should be writing this down. And I always said I should do 2 books, one the trains and the other one the cab rides. So we shouldn't have our locals notch up at 1. No, whatever you hear, if you're on the prototype and you go to 1, it's the same, but the engine will move because it's not revving up anymore. It's just electricity it's making then goes to the traction motors. Yeah, yeah, just the CVs. Yeah. Okay, GGs have 32. Oh, okay. Turn the dial up to 11. Yeah, this one goes to 11. Do I have Ken muted? Ken, you're muted. I'm on mute.
Now I'm unmuted, right?
There you are. Yep. Now
There, okay, good.
see, because I'm getting echo. I hear myself talk, and then I'm hearing it through the earplugs.
Okay. So I like he suggested, I muted the YouTube, but now I can see the.
You get a little more echo. Heath, I would love to see a GG1 because our joke is always having a GG1 with a sound decoder. Because don't they sound the same full throttle as idling? I'm like, it's an electric motor. How does it rev up? You know? No, I hope my old dogs you're talking about Ken.
Yeah, definitely me.
It wouldn't be me.
No, you're too young.
Yeah, yeah. See, Heath is after you now.
Yeah. So you're talking about the sound of you're talking about the sound of GG1 makes. I was told that the gas turbines make a sound like a Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, the turbines. I think they sound the same in notch 1 as notch whatever they had. It's just, here's a jet engine. Good thing they went through like Wyoming, Nebraska, and Utah. No one cared. And not into Los Angeles too much. So
Oh,
All right, Ken, tip your camera down.
there you go.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. Sorry.
See, you got all the tips. No, he does age like whiskey. Yeah, fine whiskey. Record a vacuum for an ESU to code. That would be good. See, I'm not an ESU guy. You're the one that can do this. Can't you just import any sound and put it in there? Because I know that Rapido puts like Star Trek noises hidden in the CVs in there. I've heard rumors of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that you can scale them down. But I would love to hear a GG1 video and what they sound like. I always got a kick when looking at them that they had spoked wheels. I never thought about that.
Oh yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah, that they had these old spoked wheels.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to get a Sioux Milwaukee Road live feed and get on here. And we were thinking about, Ken and I were talking about this for the convention or for clinics. Heath did a lot of editing for clinics on the NMRA National. But like I did that clinic at the Thousand Lakes region on the RIP track again. So yeah, what do you have that's DCC? Well, I don't know what you. I don't know if I've ever seen you pick up Digitrax or somebody's throttle like that. So you recorded it, the air whistle, the most craziest thing I've ever heard. That and those electronic bells on the MP15.
Yeah.
Okay, so half your N scale is DCC. They must come with decoders. I don't know if I can install N scale decoders. Maybe they're plug and play. You know, it just scares me to take them apart. But yeah, we'll have to get a layout tour, Ken. Maybe like if I came over, you can narrate. You know, like we did the layout tours before with better audio equipment now and gimbals. And,
Yeah, like you, I would need to. I've been doing projects, so I need to clean up and I think I tore out some wires while I was digging around doing things. So, but that was that conversation we had earlier. Is I've got to have some electronics people come over and just talk about what I've done and probably square it away so I have a better electronic system here. So.
yeah, because that's, if you have visitors, that's the last thing you want to go south.
Yep.
Is your DCC system.
So
I think that's why I finally sold my Digitrax and upgraded. I got a DCS 210 because I knew it was a ticking clock that I bought in the mid 90s, and I'm like, when is this gonna go? Probably right in the middle of the ops thing.
Yeah.
Visiting from 5 states. You know, and we're pushing engines around like Thomas here.
Yep. So I do have one really sexy thing to show everybody. I just got some detail parts in to detail a maintenance warehouse I'm doing, and so here's an S-scale toilet. There it is.
Pull that back a bit.
Back of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
An S-scale toilet.
The only challenge I can see with it is they printed it with the lid down. And it occurs to me if they would have printed it with the lid up, you could do a better weathering job on the inside of the bowl.
Yes, yes. You would have more opportunities for the angry wife and the husband there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, that's a cute one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like these Model U people.
Yeah.
You know, they're just really detailed.
Well, but it's like we talk about, you can go down the rabbit hole and get stuck putting toilets in bathrooms. Oh, there you go.
You know, it is still weathering. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy hanging off the side of the car. Now, Dan Dose's favorite car. Is it still weathering? Yeah, I think the inside of a toilet is weathering.
Yeah.
Weathered toilet bowls is what the hobby. See, there's a whole podcast right there.
Yeah.
And there you go. Yes, go take that dog for a walk in that nice park. And I'm jealous. I miss having a dog, but it's a lot of upkeep.
Yes.
My wife thinks I'm enough upkeep. Well, Lionel. So Lionel Trains has a flush sound. Is that a selling point? Is that in the catalog? Yeah, shelter dog. No, you're right. Every dog my wife and I have had is a rescue. In fact, we've had 4 of them. And we call ourselves Florida for dogs because they come to us to retire and live out the end of their life. So, yeah, all of ours have been rescues, shelters, you know. Yeah, that's not a mini Prince, people. That was a Model U. I've got some mini Prints, and they're good, but they're not that good. Because the Model U guy in England has this where you stand there and scans it, and he puts people in period costumes and does stuff, and it's just fabulous. Steve Logan is running tender first with the engineer. Yeah, 3 dogs, 3 cats, all rescued. This is what I'm looking for. I need an HO scale guy standing with his arms out like this, with like something in his hand, like a paper rolled up. Because when they used to shove to the ore dock, the guy would stand on top of the ore load of the first car and give signals. You know, he'd have something orange in his hand, the switchless holder. But I've got videos of this on the Great Northern and the Masabi that they wouldn't hang on the side of the car because you could see him, but he'd go way up top and relay signals to guys farther back, so they didn't end up going into the lake. You know, so mini Lionel. Tim, I just on my channel, if you go to a video, you can see what I used. A lot of Vallejo and AK stuff and washes. I made a video on how I paint those figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, better people next as you get 3D paint. Yeah. Well, I just want it so I have a device on my phone that I can scan an object and send it to the 3D printer.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
don't know. I just use craft paints.
Yeah. Craft paints are good. Yeah, theme of Orwoods. Yeah, don't put it in the lake. There's always that story of the guy who went off. So I always wondered how the guys in the old ore days with the sticks poking the ore, how did they not fall through once it all came loose? How did they not go down out the bottom of the hole? So there's Grain Express. Hello. Must be late night. Everybody comes on. It was just Ken and I here for an hour, and my wife. I could switch some more if you want. Having a good talk. What have we been at? 147. All right. Friday. It was a Friday night. I always got to ask what day it is in the real world when you work for the railroad. A lot of interesting things. So yeah, what'd you get the toilet? What building are you going to put the toilet in, Ken? Oh, now he gets to go get it. Oh, get my tea out here.
This is going to be a maintenance building for by the power plant. So this is just primed. I'm going to come back and paint antique white over it so the gray fades through real well. And so then I'll put an interior in, keep the roof open. So yeah. So somebody came up, Grain Express. Is that another grain hauler guy?
No, Mr. Grain Express, what do you model? I don't know everyone's name like he. I gotta start making a list. Lucky I know my own name.
Tater Farmer.
Tater Farmer. Oh. Like them taters. That's a good Western. Oh, the Seaboard system. Oh, that's kind of rare. I always think the people who model the Seaboard system or the family lines are just the redheaded stepchild of paint schemes by every manufacturer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, we'll make Penn Central before we make a family lines. It's just, I like the family. I like that gray and the different colors. The GN had the Tater Freighter.
Yeah.
What's the Tater Freighter, William? I don't know if I should ask. That sounds like something the curmudgeon would like. 1986. Okay. You got a cutoff date. We always talk about that. It helps you in your purchases and in your modeling because you pick up things and like, I can't have this or I shouldn't have this. You know, that's a 1989 car. That's a 90. That's a car from the future. And it's good when you model that date and you can say, well, it's going to save me money or cost me money because I need more specific. Oh, here comes Ken Moore show and tell. I like this.
So there's the S-scale version of the Tater Freighter. Boy, I'm getting a lot of glare here.
Well, it's a white car. I know, white.
It is. There you go.
There you go.
But so the outside of the car was done with insulation. That's why it's so bumpy. So on the bottom, there's a diesel fuel tank. And that end's got the generator or the blower in it. And then that's got ductwork to get air into the inside of the hopper. And it was for potatoes from the Red River Valley up to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, let me see the bottom of that. And who makes that? Okay,
well,
so
the car, the basic car is Pacific Rail Shops center flow, and then everything else is custom.
Oh,
Tom Lennon did
does it a kit or something you built?
Oh, Tom Lennon scratch built all the rest, or kit bashed all the rest parts. I'm trying to convince him. He made 2 of these, one for Santa Fe and one for NP. I'm trying to convince him to send these off to Railroad Model Craftsman for the Dremel Award. So
He should. He should if he's got
he should,
pictures of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's
Hey, Mark,
nice.
and yeah, that's a cool looking car.
Yeah.
I remember seeing those with the odd coating on them, but I didn't know they
Yes.
had a generator and all the rest of it on there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
You know, and so he's a clever guy, and what he did was he put white paint out on a dish, and then he got that rock. Shoot, it's an orange. It's a rock putty that you can use. Durahard is it? So he would take it. He would take a little poker, get it wet, and then poke it into the Durahard and just do to the side of the car, and it made it just grainy like that. And of course, it hardened really nice and solid. So it's great. So yeah, Tom did
It looks great. You
it
couldn't
does.
see much of the coating on there.
Well, yeah, it's I think, I don't know, maybe that's a glare.
But it's got a texture.
It does have a texture. So I get yeah. I'm just not being able to show you. You can see some of the texture there.
There
You
you
go.
Yeah, I think if you didn't see the prototype, you'd think someone did the world's worst paint job. You know,
Yeah.
because I've seen the prototypes and I'm like, what's wrong with that hopper car?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it says right on the car, right on the side of the car, it says, "Don't run into this car with your vehicle, because, or don't hammer on it, because that's what people, the potatoes would get lodged in there."
What an odd concept to carry potatoes in a covered hopper.
Yep. Yep.
How many of those did the NP have?
I don't recall. It's 50, 60 of them anyway. The Sioux line
Oh,
had
really?
they made a insulated box car that had conveyors in it, and that's what they used for potato loading down to the old Dutch plant in St. Paul. So Jared, what did the Penzi and Penn Central carry in their insulated ore cars?
Was that just to keep the ore from freezing from the lake to the mills? No.
I wouldn't think.
You listen to our podcast. Thank you. Playing in the dirt. Yeah. Good to farm by. Well, that'll be one of our ads. This podcast is good to farm by.
Yeah, especially when he's out spreading manure.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is he being kind and say, you're listening to one and throwing the other? It's about the same.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, that's kind of kind. You could have been a worse comment than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so iron ore from the lake freezing. Yeah, I've never seen one of those. I've always been wondering why the Penn Central and Penzi had those. They didn't have the ore cars that looked like the Masabi and the Upper Great Lakes, but they had like little gondolas. So they must have had some rotary dumps even at that time. You know, hauling them from Conneaut down to Pittsburgh and wherever. I was like, well, why don't they have the same ore cars the Masabi does?
I think the Masabi ore cars were driven by the fact that they built the docks to fit the old 24-foot cars back in the day.
Yeah.
And so they just couldn't afford to rebuild the docks. Whereas coming off the other way, they didn't have to worry about docks to unload, and they could use the rotary. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so. More efficient, a lot more efficient.
Yep.
And then they got the cell-foot loaders. Then they could replace those hullets. Oh, those things were amazing. Like watching a dinosaur.
Yeah.
I'm so glad people got videos of those still working. So,
yeah, that's for sure.
That'd be kind of fun if you had the lower lakes. You could model like 3 or 4 hullets at a dock. So we got potatoes, we got grain. All right, what's William say here? Mentioned Demon Art cars made it to the city.
Yes.
Yes.
I have pictures of the NP bringing them down, and then I have pictures of the Burlington and bringing them back up. So the NP used to bring them down fairly regularly, and so did the GN also. I've got pictures of the GN. It was on front of one of the Great Northerns magazines. I'll try to, if you're interested, I'll try to send you some photos of that.
And I've got photos of the Chicago Northwestern bringing them down, and they'd come down to Spooner.
Yep.
But they had to run west through Shell Lake down to Hudson, switch the train, and then run east because the bridges between Spooner and Eau Claire and Chippewa couldn't take the weight of the ore train. So you'd see these loaded. I mean, one of their calendar pictures was a loaded ore train going over the Eau Claire River, and so they'd get 1 or 2 movements a year, and even taconite pellets. I found taconite pellets in our yard. So everybody could haul everybody else's. That's kind of the way it was. Ken, they want to know if you have a YouTube channel.
No. Well,
no.
Yeah, I guess I do. I'll type it into the comments. I don't have a lot there, but
yeah, reserve mining. Being the new guys, and that's like my Splitrock. I was tempted to change to the ore cars, but I'm like, I want switching, so I went back to this. Okay, where did the cars go and come back? The Burlington Northern still runs an all-rail taconite train to St. Louis. In fact, I saw it last night. NT400 and NT4 run 401. So there's a steel mill down in St. Louis. But they used to run all rail a lot in the winter when the lakes were frozen. And the steel mill still needed ore in Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Chicago, Indiana Harbor. So you'd see it in the winter a lot of times, late fall or something, these specialized ore trains. But they'd go to the steel mill. And then even the taconite, as late as the Wisconsin Central era, was going out to Utah. Wisconsin Central would haul, they'd get the SP and they'd haul them to Chicago, and the SP would haul them out to Provo, Utah, where that steel mill was. Anthony, good night. Thank you for your show. Thank you for everything. Say hello to your beautiful bride. Take care of your grandkids. Okay. The greatest. He's explaining the hopper car. Yeah, potatoes in a sack. Yeah. But I always thought they'd load potatoes like grain, put up one of those grain doors and then just fill the boxcar up to a certain level. Because how much damage can you do to a potato? I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess I don't know. We'll have to ask Mike Jordan. Oh yeah, the iron ore trains in the Upper Peninsula. Yeah, they mixed a lot. They mixed a lot. All right, there's Ken's channel.
Yep. Okay, I've got to run also. I've got an early
Yep,
morning, and we had the
2
grandson here
hours.
all day, and there's nothing like a 2-year-old to wear out an old guy like me.
Yeah, I've
So
got 4 of them that wear me out.
there you go. So I'll look forward to seeing you guys again. And if there's if there's any of the detail we talked about that I might have pictures or other information, mhry19@gmail. That's how to get a hold of me. I'm happy to share any of the history and photos that I have. So I'll see y'all again. Thank you very much for dropping in. Tom, thanks for setting this
Thanks,
up.
Ken. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
co-hosting.
Yep, bye-bye.
We're gonna take out to William. You have a good night, and make sure you videotape your voice switching your lap. That would be too much fun. I think I've got all my grandkids have run this, but the little one, she'll have to get her down here. So, but I appreciate all you guys stopping by for when you could. I know my streams are not at a set time, so let me know when. Oh, here comes trouble, everyone. There we
Well,
go.
I heard some people were asking about me.
That was Heath. Yeah, we're just leaving, so you can't accuse me of anything.
Oh, darn. Is the basement clean?
I didn't spend any. I didn't buy any of this.
Well, I'm not telling you if I didn't buy anything while you were busy.
Yeah, the Amazon guy's getting lonely. But all
That
right, we've been on
Amazon
here
guy
over 2
loves
hours.
me.
He does. He does. You leave him snacks. He likes that. All right,
What can
everyone,
I
say
say?
goodbye. Say goodnight to my beautiful bride. And thank you.
Thank you for keeping my husband busy tonight.
Busy. Busy. Occupied. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Good night, everyone.